Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Tom and some of you might know me as Bowl of Salmon on Instagram. I'm a photographer and videographer, and on this channel I just like to talk about watches that deserve a bigger screen and more than just a 15-second reel.
I wait for someone to save. I wanna tell you something new. You drove us both into a wall. I drive away into the night and I contemplate for a while.
Today we are taking a closer look at one reference from each of the model lines in the Glashütte Original Spezialist collection. This spans the full SeaQ range from Glashütte, and in this video we are directly comparing their top divers, the SeaQ and the SeaQ Panorama Date, and we also have the epic SeaQ Chronograph in the studio. All three of them are blue dials, and spoiler alert, this has to be one of the best blue dials I've ever had the pleasure of shooting. Last year I did a review on the SeaQ diver in reed green, so if you want to make up your mind about what color works best, I'll leave a link to the video in the description down below. Now let's work our way up in wrist presence, and before we go into the detail, let's see some specifications on the SeaQ and Panorama Date side by side. The SeaQ comes in at a case size of 39.5mm with a height of 12.5mm. The Panorama Date comes in at 43.2mm and has a case height of 15.65mm. On my wrist, the height difference is negligible, and don't let the difference in size scare you too much. 43.2 is what I consider to be out of my comfort zone. My biggest watch is my 42mm Explorer 2, yet I found that the Panorama Date still totally worked on my wrist. And that is due to the 47.5mm lug-to-lug size that really makes this watch wear smaller than the dimension suggests. As long as the lugs don't hang over the top side of my wrist, I'm usually fine wearing them. If you look at the profile of the watch, you will see that the lugs also curve down, and that just helps with the wearability. On paper, the SeaQ has the perfect dimensions, even better than a modern day submariner. Yet, don't dismiss the Panorama Date before you tried it. And if you were already unsure over what size to get, me saying this could help ease your decision. Or not. Because beside the size difference, both are impressive watches, yet there are some important differences between the two. The Panorama Date, as the name suggests, has that signature Glashütte Original big date on the dial. And whether you like it or not, to me that is something that really sets this diver apart from a lot of divers on the market. The SeaQ is powered by the caliber 3911 and has a power reserve of 40 hours. While the Panorama Date is powered by the caliber 37-23 and has a power reserve of 100 hours. But the Panorama Date has an open case back that lets you have a look at all the pretty things that are Glashütte Original. The 3/4 plate with the stripe finishing, the balance with the silicone hairspring, the regulator-free fine adjustment, and the skeletonized rotor with double G symbol and the 21 karat gold oscillation weight. I recently did a video on the PanoInverse showcasing a lot of these elements, and that will help you understand the insane level of watchmaking Glashütte Original brings. So if you want to see and learn more about the brand, definitely go check out that video. It's no coincidence I put my Leica in these shots as props. They're both German and they're built like a tank, in a good way. When you first pick up either of these watches, you can just feel the quality. And that is what Glashütte Original represents. They are just very qualitative timepieces. And in my opinion, brutally underrated. And it doesn't always have to make sense. I mean, a Leica is a much more expensive camera than, let's say, a full-frame Sony or Canon, and they both serve the same purpose. But at the end of the day, it's about how an object makes you feel. If you would have asked me early on in my collecting journey if I would pick this over a modern submariner, I would probably have taken the Rolex because of recognizability, but if you ask me again today, I wouldn't hesitate and I would pick either of these SeaQ divers. If we take a closer look at the case finishing, all of these watches have a radial brushing on the lugs, blending in with the shape of the dial, and they feature a vertical brushed finish on the side of the case. The polished beveled edges bring a level of refinement. If we turn over the SeaQ, there's a beautifully engraved case back that shows a trident and a double G logo engulfed in 20 waves. Those 20 waves represent the water resistance of 20 bar in this version. So all these watches are equipped for deep dives. The Panorama Date has a water resistance of 300 meter. They have a beautiful screw-down crown signed with the double G logo, and they have a good knurling that is providing plenty of grip to operate the crown. PanoramaDate features crown guards, while the SeaQ does not. They all feature a ceramic unidirectional countdown bezel in the same blue hues as the dial. The ceramic provides for a scratch-resistant surface. On all of the watches, the bezel action feels very satisfactory and has zero play. The action on the bezel is less priggy than other dive watches I've tried, and I describe it more as a ratchety click, if that makes sense. On the side of the regular SeaQ, the coin edge bezel is finer, yet still provides plenty of grip. On the bezel of the PanoramaDate and the chronograph, the ridges are coarser, giving it a more rugged look. The watches are provided with plenty of superluminova, both on the Arabic numerals, the hands, and the triangle marker on the bezel at 12 o'clock, providing a great legibility in the dark. The color of these dials is described as intense blue. They all feature a sunray finish, and they are just very dynamic in every type of light. While the reed green I reviewed a while ago does light up in sunlight, it is perhaps a more muted option over these blue dials. But the blue is just gorgeous, and this would be my pick. I haven't talked about the strap and bracelet options yet. All these watches can be purchased on either a rubber strap or synthetic strap, or on the bracelet. As I mentioned in my previous videos, I'm a big fan of their synthetic strap. It looks great on the PanoramaDate, and it even looks better on a sporty watch like this. Glashütte Original recently introduced a couple of their new color options, including this orange. It's very on brand for bowl of salmon, isn't it? And it's the first time I'm getting hands-on with their bracelet, and I'm impressed. The build quality matches up with what you would expect from the brand. There now is a full brushed 3-link bracelet. Unfortunately, there is no taper, but it does feature a really good quick adjustment. You don't even have to take the watch off your wrist, you just push down on the double G logo to extend or shorten the bracelet. To carry the weight of the chronograph, the rubber strap on the SeaQ is a bit thicker, but it's very flexible and just feels like the right combination for this watch. To wrap up this quick compare to both the divers and before we bring our attention to the chronograph, again, there is no wrong choice here. If you have similar sized wrists like mine, I really urge you to try this PanoramaDate. And if you prefer the size of the SeaQ and you would really want that signature date, here is a suggestion for an ideal 2-watch collection. Now, the biggest feedback from the community, or should I say complaint, about the SeaQ is to up the power reserve on the movement and please bring the open case back to the SeaQ. And while there are already plenty of dial and precious metal options, why not bring the fight to Rolex and create a no-date version without the creamy indices and with a green bezel? Let's quickly head over to the SeaQ Chronograph now. What a beauty, what a beast. If I would watch a YouTube video and somebody would tell me this would wear great on my wrist, I wouldn't believe it myself. But I'm telling you, this is one of those watches you have to try on your wrist. It takes the same 43.2 diameter case as the SeaQ Panorama Date and has a nearly identical lug-to-lug size of 47.7mm. The case thickness is 3mm over that of a Speedmaster and comes in at a thickness of 16.69mm, including that box-shaped sapphire crystal. On all watches, the domed sapphire crystal adds a dreamy distortion to the dial, and it almost feels like it's bending time where hours and minutes seem to swirl and stretch. That's probably the best part for me on these watches. As I mentioned before, this chronograph has a water resistance of 300 meter and complies to all standards, making this a more than capable dive watch. It's a flyback chronograph, meaning you can quickly restart the timer function while the chronograph is running. The dial has a dual register layout with the left register showing the running seconds and the right register featuring a 30-minute counter. It also features the PanoramaDate that has been moved to a 6 o'clock position. And to make room for those maxi sub-dials, some of those recognizable Arabic numerals had to go and only the 12 and 6 numerals have survived. I've handled some bigger watches from brands like IWC, Breitling and Bucherer lately, and if you're not afraid of bigger watches and you're looking for something really beautiful, do me a favor and give this one a chance. Anyway, that's it for this video. Thanks for sticking around. If you liked the video, this is the perfect time to hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already. Looking forward to hear your thoughts on these watches. Is Glashütte Original criminally underrated or not? What is your favorite watch from the brand? Let me know in the comments or come find me on Instagram. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.